Hello and welcome to I'm Grandma Mimsy, and I was working on my stamper situation today and thought I would share because there's a lot of newbies that have been asking a lot of questions about a lot of things, and I thought I would just do a basic overall on your stampers and scrapers. I have talked about this previously in different videos, and there's a lot of questions about getting the stamper to pick up the image. So I'm going to cover everything in all of this as an update. So for the record, I have in my beginning experiences, I've just followed what came with the kit, the information. I have been doing nails and nail art for decades, and when I discovered Maniology, it was not so much that it was new, just interesting and fun. So I thought, why not? And I've just become in love with the whole process. So when I originally got my first stamper, the instructions and some of the few videos that were available, because there wasn't a whole lot back then, were saying that you should initially take the stamper part. So you're going to get, when you sign up or on your first box as a new subscriber or a new purchase, you're going to get the Ice Cube stamper and scraper, and you're going to get one it's more like this, but it's got the image of the Maniology logo, so it's all just very sheer and clear. There is a cap. I don't have those because they kind of get taken off and forgotten about and get put in a box, and then gosh only knows. So this comes all together, that you will have the silicone will be inside with the cap. It'll all be wrapped up in a little box. In a separate little envelope will be the little tiny scraper card. Those ones work well. They're good for a beginner to try and get the hang of things. They're extremely thin and flexible. So you're kind of might not be getting the best results with your scraping process because they're kind of flimsy, in my opinion. And then you can buy different scraper cards in different sets. They come out quarterly usually, and will have different themes, or summer, winter, fall kind of thing. Other times they come out in special occasions for like Halloween and whatnot. There was this set that came out, I want to say last year or the year before. This is my favorite set because it's not super flimsy like the thin ones that come with the original scraper card. This one is a different set, and it's harder. It's more stiff. This one is kind of in the middle, so you don't have the super thin flexy. You don't have the super hard. It's like the Goldilocks. That it's just right. And I use it a lot, and as you can tell, I've used it so much that I've completely taken the design off because of all the cleaning and whatnot. So you're going to get that in your box, and your first steps before you start to do anything. I know you're excited, you want to go play with stuff. Your first step is to take out this part and use just a dollop of tiny amount of Dawn dish soap is the recommended. Whether you're using the liquid or the spray, it doesn't matter. Just use a little bit. You don't need a whole lot, because the more you use, the soapier that you're going to have to rinse off. But rub it all around, rinse it really well. Put this on something that doesn't have lint on it, that is not silicone. You could put it on like wax paper, parchment paper, or a very coarse style napkin, a paper napkin, paper towel. That will work to allow it to air dry, and just let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. Kind of turn it into a different spot, let it do its thing. Now I have personally opened up stampers and used them right out of the box. I didn't wash them. I didn't have any problems with it. Maniology has shared and showed this on their live unboxing videos of new items, that you can literally just take it out of the box and start going. You more than likely won't have any problems. But sometimes if you're having difficulties, the washing of the jelly part will make things a lot easier. So I do kind of just do a quick, and if it's a new stamper, and I'm not in a rush to use it, the other suggestion is to put it on a piece of paper, cardboard, index card, and just let it sit for a couple of days and flip it every so often when you walk by. And you will see that there will be a big like oil spot looking kind of thing when you tilt it over. So make sure you kind of get it on all the sides, turn it over this way, stand it up on different sides. Let it do that for about a day or two, and you'll see kind of the things that'll come out of it. Sometimes that will also solve problems. But on a regular basis of maintenance and care, you're really just using your tape to clean it, and that's pretty much about the extent of it. But every so often, you kind of get where you need to take and just like in real life where you have your own washer and dryer that you go in and you will run a load, and if you don't know this, you should. In your washing machine, you should run a load of nothing, just the machine washing itself. Use hot water, and you can use vinegar, or you can use laundry soap and bleach, but let it do its thing and clean that out at least once a week to get all the gunk, because in your washer you see the square part on the outside, but the round drum is kind of like the thermos or your insulated tumbler. It's got a second part that you can't see, and that's what keeps the water from not escaping everywhere. So the holes that are inside that, all that water goes out, and on the rim between the outside of where the holes are and the other containing rim, it can cake up and get gunk on it. So if you're using community washers, a lot of people use way too much soap. They pack their washer too tight because they think they're getting their money's worth if they put more clothes in there, and they think they're getting their money's worth if they put more soap in there. The problem is, especially if you're using powder soap, it doesn't have the capacity to get completely dissolved, so you're leaving a huge residue of soap on your clothes and in the washer, and then that gunk up stuff just does really weird things. But side note anyway. So yes, you need to go through. And the other thing is that on a lot of the stampers, people have issues with them falling out. And somebody said to use a hot glue on this little ridge to kind of help grab the stamper. But for me, the hot glue and that hot glue gun can get kind of hot. This is plastic, and my logic is plastic when warmth will melt, and I'm not gonna do that. So I just use nail polish, and I just occasionally come in. I will do all of my polish holders at the same time to allow them to dry. And while I'm doing that, I clean off my my insert parts on that. If you wanted to use the hot glue, I would sit and figure out, really quickly. You could use like tape or something on some waxed or parchment paper and draw lines or squiggles that would equal the size of this to allow it to cool. And then you could put more hot glue on that glue and then put that on the inside kind of thing. But, make your layers very thin, because obviously you don't want to impede that. But to each their own. If you feel you can safely do that and not damage anything, then by all means, just be careful. So I line everything up, and the other thing is that when you first get your holder, it's gonna be nice and pretty and clear, and mine has been used, so you can see that there is some things to that have gotten on that. That's one I've had for a little while, but it's probably the newest one. But eventually they will end up in all kinds of things where you will and so it's kind of like that thing when you get a new car and it doesn't have any scratches and you're all worried about it, and that first scratch is just so maddening. And somebody suggested when you get a new car, you go make the first scratch someplace where it won't bug you, and just go scratch the car, and then my car's already scratched, so then you don't have that anxiety when it happens, and it will happen. Or you can get those little door runner thingies that prevent other people from dinging on things. But you know what, stuff happens, and like Bissell says, life is messy, clean it up. Yeah. Sometimes if you worry and stress about things that are not huge, they become more anxiety and more huge. And someone who suffers from issues because anxiety happens when you deal with trauma. Sometimes you have to figure out what to mitigate, as far as we're not going to go with that and what we will go with. So basically you go through, and the different layers of how you clean your stampers will work for you based on your level of commitment and what how involved the rabbit hole you want to go. So I prefer, most people will suggest that you get Scotch tape because you can use that for a lot of things. I don't like it because it's too stiff, and quite frankly it's a tactile texture thing. It hurts on the skin for me, because I get poked by the edges of things. Whereas with the masking tape, it is more flexible and it still has a good grip on it. So and I can get this for like $4 at the dollar store, and it lasts me several months. Whereas the Scotch tape is a couple bucks per little thing, and those little things will only last a few attempts at things. So go through your different layers while you're, if you're going to do this, if you feel you need to do this, you don't have to unless it's an issue, but that's just a suggestion. But I would go and take those and wash everything with a little bit of soap and water and put them on places to allow them to dry. And then as you're going to go through, take your lowest level. So the masking tape is going to have the least amount of stickiness, but it will get the most amount of the stuff that is on your stamper pad. And then the thing I like the best to use on a regular basis, I like the Duck brand, the Max Strength packing tape. I really like how this one goes. Again, these are like $4 or $5. They last a really long time for me, for the things that I use. And between the two of them, I trade those off, and that kind of gets me through a lot of my stamping. Well, the previous time that Hubster, when it was get me a roll of the tape, they didn't have this one. All they had was a Scotch brand. This one is thinner. It's less sticky. It's less durable. It doesn't do as great a job. So we're working on this one as much as possible to get through it, because I just don't like it. But we're working with what we have. So you go through and you will do the same thing with your, after you've done a quick clean off. Now the thing is, you want to make sure you're going through in your cleanup process, you're getting along the side, you're getting along the edges, you're getting along the parts where when you just do the regular cleaning, you're not noticing that it gets in other places. And there are some times that there have been powders or chromes or even polish that I thought I got everything off, and when you pull that thing out and clean it up underneath, it was like, oh, there's a little microscopic amount that I didn't realize I get. And I have cleaned this with several times with other things to go through the process, and I don't know if you can see or not, but there's still glitter that I'm picking up, because the glitter is forever, will always be in places. And even using this one that was the Duck one, it still got some more of the stuff that was on that one. And I'm sure that along the way, that if we use the heavy duty one, we're gonna find even more that we will pick up. That sometimes you just need to spend a day just going through and cleaning, and even though you think you got it all, just keep going, because this is something that's meant to be sticky and pick up things, and it holds on to them fairly well. And just the general cleaning of them will get the majority of the stuff that you're using. But every now and then, like I said, your carpets, your car, your washing machine, your dishwasher, all these things that you use on a regular basis to clean things need to be cleaned themselves, believe it or not. Your mop, whatever it is that you're using, you usually go through and do another cleanup. And part of that is too, on this one, I obviously used it for a chrome that had some shimmer in it, and at some point when it gets those cracks and things going in it, it will always have something. And so I did get a little bit more, but it's really, 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 really clean. And if that's something you want to sit to do before you do your washing of everything, then that's also an option, that if you want to just wash these things off, allow them to dry, and then, you know, paint on the inside parts, allow that to dry, and then clean off your stampers and allow them to dry. This might take you all day, but once every month or every other month is a good practice to get into. So the other thing too is I love the Lotus mats and the ones that I get from Maniology. Unfortunately, they are a limited size, and so I got these ones off of Amazon that are just silicone, basic, inexpensive, that cover everything. The problem is that you can't put silicone on silicone. And one of the gifts that Maniology gave out last year was a silicone mat that you could put down to, it was shaped like a paw. And so you could put your polish on that, and then because it was silicone, it would stick to the silicone so it wouldn't slide. And you could mix or match. Like if you wanted to do reverse stamping, you could put your different colors down on that, and then use your brush to, you know, to implement things in. And so you would have that kind of, you had the little paws, and then you had a big center. But some people left that on their silicone mat too long, and it started to bubble up, because silicone with silicone will have a reaction to itself. And I have, on an occasion, noticed that my stampers were all lined up, and because of my table, the way that it tends to slope at certain points, it got bumped, and then one of my stampers fell over, and the actual silicone part was laying down, and it kind of did a weird little morphing to it. So just be careful on your silicone. If you have a silicone mat that you're doing things on, put a piece of tape or something underneath them, piece of paper. But I like the tape because it sticks more, and then as you move things around, you're not in jeopardy of having it be affected with your silicone mats. But protect your surfaces. And the last part is to your scrapers, that when you get these, they are pretty much, you know, clean because you've never used them before, but they will also pick up, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but this has embedded in it perpetually sparkles and glitter from the polishes and the powders and things that I've used. It doesn't go away very quickly, even though, like I say, you can never have too much sparkle. Yeah, the sparkle will live for eternity on your stuff. So as you are doing your artwork, you will, even if you have several, you'll pick up one because something's not working right. You'll pick up a different one. I tend to set them down, and then short-term memory goes, where did I put that? So I'll just grab a new one. Well, next thing I know, I've got these that have paint on them, polish, and of different shades, because I was working on different projects. And a lot of times when you get done with a project, something else comes up, or I need to step away and move because I've been sitting long enough that the body is now going, you need movement. And I forget to come back and clean these off. And if you don't clean them off soon, then trying to get that polish off is near next to impossible, because something about it being on the plastic, it doesn't like to release very easily. And the problem then is if you have that on your edges, it can interfere in your scraping. If you have it even on this side, how it scrapes across and can cause you to not get a great pickup on the image that you're doing. And having a scraper holder will help. And if you have not signed up for or not getting, or if it's too late and it's already passed, for May of 2025, the monthly subscription box, the theme is including a new version of the scraper holder. I've been waiting for almost 3 years. I've been asking and begging and pleading. We are finally getting it. I am so excited. My box will be here very soon. It's already shipped and it's already on its way. It's just a matter of days. I will have the box and I will be very, very happy. And I'm so glad because this one, the thing is kind of getting to the point where I might need to do something. So I'm going to have to probably get some super glue or something and fix that one and let that one retire for a little bit. The other thing is that usually if there's enough, they have them on the website, and I've told Maniology in my request, please, 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 please keep this around. So order extra because so many people are so excited. There are individuals who have said they literally just signed up for the getting this box with this item. They were not going to sign up for the subscription, but the minute that they saw that this was available on board, they're signing up. So I know that they're going to have a huge increase of people signing up. And there have been months where the monthly box did sell out. So as an advisory, words are hard, if there's something that you see from Maniology, because it is changing, because nail art is changing, it is a very fluid and moving market, that Maniology, being a Hawaii-based company, their warehouse is small. It's not like they can just go build something new. Hawaii is on an island, so they're limited in space and storage for the items that they get. So at this point, they have products that kind of come and go. And if something isn't selling well, they discontinue it. If they're not able to get the ingredients or the supplies, or if there's an issue with some of the designs, then it gets the polish and the polish and the plates are definitely based on popularity. And if there's not new people, so if I buy a plate, I'm not going to buy another one. But if the rest of the world out there isn't interested in buying it, they're not going to keep it in stock, no matter how much I think it's a wonderful plate. So it's the same thing with these things. Stuff sells out. And like I said, we've had months where stuff sells out and or gets discontinued. This is the nature of business, to stay in business, to do things that will keep the company in business. And with their monthly box, as I've tried to say this now 3 times, there have been boxes that when the plates came out, the items, the plates, the polish, everything that was in the box was so popular that the box sold out. They didn't have anything left over to put on the website for the following month. It was completely gone. So in my experience, this is why it's like, if I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it, I reserve judgment until I receive it and have time to play with it. And a lot of times my opinion will change after I've had time to work with it, after I've seen the unboxing, after I've seen some of the things that the ladies show that they talk about sparks inspiration, and then it's off to the races. So I'm saying, don't judge just because you see a picture of it. There's a lot of times that I thought those colors are going to be so ugly, and then I get them and use them, and I'm like, I'm obsessed, because heaven forbid, they're super cute. The picture and the video just did not do it justice. So there's that. But then again, we all have different tastes. We all have different preferences of things. So just kind of keep your mind open to things. And this is another reason why they give you the preview on the 20th, is so that you can evaluate whether or not you want to get it. And if it's something you absolutely hate and you can skip, hey, guess what? You can email them back and go support@maniology.com. I changed my mind. I kind of want the box. Can you re-engage? So if you have your ship date be earlier, because the new box theme starts on the 23rd of every month. That way, because there's different days that begin and end in a month, it's always on the 23rd. Why they picked that day, I don't know. But it starts on the 23rd and ends on the 22nd of the next month. So you're going from towards the end of the month to the end of the next month. It carries over, so you have about 4 weeks to be able to make your decisions on things. And if your ship date is on the 1st, if you come in and see all the people doing different things, and you go, oh, it's the 14th, I decided, or even on the 21st, you still have a day that you can come in and go, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I really want it. But there you go. That's the logic of that. If you get one of these, the thing I noticed is that this is incredibly, with the cotton rounds, incredibly difficult to clean. And that's why I love these flat ones, because I can take and put the nail polish remover and just sit that down, and then I can grab the two like a sandwich and just kind of work its way back and forth. And that seems like the best, easiest way to get the stuff out. With the cotton rounds and the cotton balls, it's a little bulkier and not as easy to get cleaned. You can just kind of put this, I know that in previous months, and I think this is still available on the website, Maniology has this holder that you can get. It's a cup that opens up, it expands, and can hold your tools or various other things. But in the bottom, it's meant to, I don't know if you can see the ridges. The camera's not there. That here where you see the ridges, that's meant so that you can clean your brushes, that you can take, oh, I can't get this off. Yeah, I can. You can take your brush and put your cleaner in there and wiggle it around, and that will get all the gunk off of your art brushes as well. Works even well for the silicone ones, which I love these silicone ones. So if you didn't get those in your monthly subscription, those are on the website. Go get those as well. This is also available. This brush is super nice, super soft. If you were not a subscription member previously when this came out, I recommend getting an extra one because those are super, super nice. So I'm putting this back. Okay. But yeah, you could take that, put a little bit in, and put this downwards in a ways, and just let it sit there and kind of swish around to get that clean if that's an issue that you're having. But again, like with the scraper cards, like with all your other tools, if you clean them right after you're done, as best you can, it's a lot easier to get everything pristine the way you need or like it to be, so that it works. Because if you don't take care of your tools won't take care of you. And just as an update, this plate is super popular and super liked in my previous videos for the M579. I believe it's called Midnight Ball. It is a reminiscence of Cinderella or the princess options, because there's a castle and the carriage and people dancing, and you have the masks that people wear. There's a clock. So there's all kinds of cute, starriness. I love the stars in the moon. I did a mani that where the base colors are kind of like Skittles. Everything is different. And then I did Bam White and Shadow Veil as the pickup color, and just kind of dab those on. Super cute for if you're looking for Cinderella kind of things for something, or princessy type things, however you want to classify that. This was something that I had an image in my head, a design that I wanted to work on, and it didn't come out the way that I thought it was going to be able to stamp over. So I'll be replacing this. This one was from the dragon heart plate. This one was the clock from this, and this I wanted to be the background, but the images over the top are not they're not showing up as the idea in my head. So we're going to take it all off and start all over again with the next version of stamping that I hope to be able to do. I hope all this answers some questions. I know for most people who've been around for a while, you pretty much know all this stuff. As a newbie, I hope all of this